Hey, Sally.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. Are you leading today?
I guess.
Oh, Raphael texted me yesterday and said, "Are you leading?" I said, "I mean, I can, but I don't think I am." I said, "Whomever leads, I can be their wing girl."
All right, because Janet's going to be here to help me with the poll questions. Janet, is that you? She's
Can
supposed to be here anyway.
you have to allow me to you have to promote me to a co-panelist and allow me to show my face.
Okay. So I'm going to make you a co-host.
Yeah, I think then I can show my face, maybe.
All right. I got a message from Peter today.
Yeah, he's packing up.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Uh,
Milton's
that's
bad.
not going to be good. Trust me.
I have several people that are literally evacuating. I was listening to the news today and gosh, so sad because they're just recovering from Helene.
I know that I was listening to Ron DeSantis yesterday,
Yeah.
and he said that he had made an executive order to have all landfills stay open 24/7, and one of them decided to close, and he authorized the state police to rip the gates down and let people in there on their own.
Is that so people can put their debris that they already had in?
Yeah, because he said
Otherwise it's gonna fly everywhere, right?
yeah, it's going to be it's going to my daughter goes to college in Lakeland, which is like 20 miles east of Tampa, and they're like, you have to be off this campus by 1 o'clock today. So
Wow. I'm not
so
messing around.
she was her boyfriend lives in Texas, and she was going to fly there on Friday. So she called the airline and she's like, "Can we switch my flight to Tuesday?" And they said, "Sure. That'll be $2,200."
Whoa.
Yeah. So
So they're gouging people?
you might say that.
That's terrible.
Yeah, like I mean, usually it costs about 300. And so
Oh,
what God loved the boy. There he is. God loved the boyfriend. He says, "You know what? I'll fly into Orlando." She has a car there, so we drove to Orlando. They went from the airport right back to Texas in the car. So they got to Texas late last night.
wow, that's amazing. So what's our
So,
plan for today? Just to, not to be insensitive, but since usually we have 20, 30, 40, 50 people.
all right, so
Uh, what's our plan?
I will. Where's my PowerPoint? There it is. It is right here. But I'll just buzz through these with you guys real quick. I just kind of there's like 50
Check
slides
one,
here,
two.
loud and clear.
Sorry,
Todd,
checking my mic. Yeah. Okay.
all right, so these are the
There's kind of a background. So talk again, Todd.
Yeah, I got my windows open. I'll shut it before we start. I'm just trying to cool my apartment down.
Okay.
all right, so obviously Happy New Year. Disclaimer. This is where we're going to do this like like we always do a little bit of a lead in just while people are filtering in till a couple of minutes after. We'll see Dave's not here today. Dave is there. Can you guys see my screen?
Oh, cool. I've never seen Dave's wife before. She's so pretty. Dave
Yeah,
looks so
she's
different.
it must be
Yeah.
cold there.
Wow, that's so cool. I love that picture.
All right. Rafa, why can't I see anybody? There's
He's,
That was a
Rafa.
great session he did yesterday.
he's
Peter.
definitely coming. Peter may be in Hurricane City.
Now, Sally, would you be able to, because we're jammed up again on um Spam House and Google and all kinds. Can you send the host link to Peter?
Sure.
All right, participating is easy. Links, all this good stuff. Why are you here today? So first one we asked them, and this is where Janet will post one of the poll questions. Why are you here today? The first one's just kind of fill in the blank. What just happened? Use it or lose it. Actually, I don't like the screen right now. All right, there we go. Starts all over. There we go. This is just the standard template that, or the standard slide deck that that Dave uses for this meeting every year. So last year we had like,
Real quick, Rob, it's fiscal year 25 now.
what's that?
On the top, it's FY 2025 now.
Shit. Good eye.
Think you have to go to slide master. For all of it, yeah.
Mr. Good eye, Todd. Let's see. So just, yeah, it's going to be a fire drill. It goes by so fast, the hour. Are we okay with this lineup? And Todd, do you have a picture?
I can send you a picture over. I know he had one last month. In there. But I
Was
think
it
he
like-
did it last minute.
Dave?
Do you have a slide, Todd?
Yeah, he made one for me last month.
Okay,
But I'll go ahead and shoot over a picture real quick. Give me a second. I don't have a slide made, but
if he has a
made one.
slide, Rob, it'll be in your files, so.
Well, like I literally just got this from Dave because three of us tore through everything in our Dropbox and we could not find this presentation. I actually just got it from Dave this morning and he sent that,
Okay.
he sent that picture.
All right. Can you shoot this? Oh, I don't know if we have time. I'll go ahead and give me
Make a slide, just send it to Todd and he'll make a slide.
Yeah. Can you save this, drop it in the chat? Probably the easiest way, and then I'll fix it and send it back.
He can make a slide for himself.
We have somebody here already. Oh, we have a lot of people here already.
Whatever you do, don't click.
Are we
start.
live?
No, don't click start the webinar, whatever you do.
I think we are. We are.
Oh.
All right.
Hi, buddy. I'll be welcoming people. Welcome, everyone, if we are in fact live. Hello, everyone.
We are
Hello,
live.
Berkeley, Utah. We start a little bit early, so we can now go ahead and put your information in the chat. And Rob, take it away. The one word, right?
I guess so. Sally, can you ping Rafa and let him know that just so you know, folks, we're gonna get the presentation started at right around 11. But if in the meantime, if you want to, first thing we're gonna ask you is we need your screen here. All right, we would like to know, not yet. What is your one word to describe the federal market? And you can post that right in the chat there at the bottom. Anxious to see what everyone has to say.
But you're 5 minutes early, all of you who are the 7 participants who are early risers. Yay.
We love early risers. Let's see.
So
Michael
what is-
Warren says overwhelming.
That's a good word. That's a really good one, actually.
That was a good one.
Yeah, so as the new folks drop in here, if you could tell us what's your number one word to describe the federal government?
So Michael, are you able to talk to everyone or just the hosts and panelists? Michael, I see you're sending things to the hosts and panelists. Rob may need to make it possible for you to send it to everyone.
He should be able to post it in the chat, right?
Well, sometimes it only allows him to post to panelists, so he needs to have everyone in the chat. If possible. You can fix the settings so you allow participants to post to everyone.
Janet is coming in here shortly, and she will
Welcome,
knows.
everybody. Welcome, welcome. We're about 4 minutes away from getting started. Glad you're all here in this. beautiful-
Before we get started, we are asking you folks, what is your number one word to describe the federal government? Janet will be here in a second to get this moving, because I am only seeing one monitor. I kind of have the same thing on both monitors, and I really don't have the ability to see what's going on other than the slide. So
We have Kathy and Faye and John. Welcome. Julie, welcome. Matthew, welcome, welcome. Melinda, Michael, Rick, and Sherry. Welcome, everyone. 9 people
Nice
so
crowd.
far.
Nice little crowd filling in here. Okay, so Janet should be here in just a couple seconds. Yep, and for you new folks that are joining the presentation here, before we get started, we'd like to have a little fun. We just want to know what's your one-word description to describe the federal market.
And Julie Thompson, yes, absolutely. Please feel free to put your business information in the chat. This is a wonderful place to network with everyone. Unfortunately, right now, the chat only goes to hosts and panelists. So Rob, you have the master controls. So if you could.
Oh, actually, I can do it here. I got it.
Okay.
I just found it.
We're all co-hosts. Janet is just joined us here. Sally, tell Janet what you want to do with the
No, Rob, I just took care of it.
okay, sweet. So now everybody can see everybody else's answers.
So what you want,
No,
you want to click on everyone instead of just hosts and panelists. That way everyone can see what you're doing. If you have that capability. I
Oh,
can't.
now I see.
Yeah.
Math bureaucracy. That's a good one. Sally intense. You know, we monitor these contracts and we see this information like all day, every day. Man, it's really kind of hard to find just one word to describe. It's really, I would have to say, did somebody say chaotic already?
Yeah, that's true. It's chaotic.
Overwhelming is a good word. We were just as we chat here, as the last couple of folks fill in here, we'll be getting started in another minute here, but we were monitoring Aptum Federal Services and Parsons, and in the final 2 days, they got over combined 60 contracts in 2 days.
Wow. So, Rob, may I guide you on navigating it so that everyone can speak to everyone instead of just the hosts and panelists?
I need to get in.
I already
you
set that up.
You first
Sorry.
go to your settings, Rob,
Okay.
and then you go to webinar and ensure public chat option is checked in Zoho.
Got that, Janet?
Sorry, I already selected it. I already opened it up for them.
Okay, well, I
Hey,
see.
Todd, can you hear me?
Wait to do.
Yep.
People are saying, Todd, that they can only do hosts and panelists, so that's why I said that. So
I need video access, please.
Stand by 1 second, Rafa.
oh, good. Van Whitehorn, thanks, Todd. Looks like people are able to. So if you want everyone to hear to see your chat, you click on the everyone feature, and if you just want to send it to hosts and panelists, then that's an option too. And you can also send private chats, perhaps. So with that, Rob, take it away.
All right. It is October 8th. My name is Rob Lundholm. I am on the ISI Federal Support Team. We're here today to do our Selling to the Government monthly free webinar. Again, my name is Rob Lundholm. We have co-panelists Sally White, Todd Crane, and the Honorable Dr. Colonel, the other adjectives to describe Rafael Marrero. I see Dave Lowe here, but I'm not sure if that's the Dave Lowe or someone impersonating him.
I'm
But Dave is
impersonating Rob. It's Peter Timbus. I'm trying to get in. I got to change this.
All right, Peter, what are you doing coming here when like you're in the eye of like one of the worst storms to hit our country?
I'm committed. I'm committed.
You are the man. We promise we'll get you out of here pretty quick, but for starters, we want to wish everybody happy. Oh, I screwed that up. That should be Happy New Year, fiscal year 2025. It all starts all over again. We saw a lot of chaos at the end of fiscal year 2024, a lot of contracts going to a lot of the same companies. And today we're going to dive into that the best we can, introduce you to our panelists one by one, a little bit more elaborative, and they'll tell you about their superpowers, as Sally would call it. But before we get started, this event is not affiliated with or endorsed by GSA or any other agency, and is provided to audience for informational purposes only. Participation in this session does not guarantee an award. Sorry. Govey's all participation in this briefing is voluntary. Any engagement by government personnel is not an indication of endorsement of or commitment to purchase from any vendor. So now we got that out of the way. We had asked for folks, if you don't mind, if you haven't already, can you please, what's your one word to describe the federal government? And Sally, I will let you lead off with that since you're first on the list. What would be your one word to describe the federal government?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I put intense. It's intense because sometimes there's timelines where you have to get your information in. Sometimes, like if I'm in sam.gov, I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And it's intense. But it can also be very rewarding and very lucrative, as many people here know. So yeah, so continue to put your one word in. And a couple of people asked if they could put information on their companies. And absolutely, we welcome that because it's a networking opportunity as well.
And please, if you miss any part of this presentation, or you have to step away for whatever reason, everyone in attendance today will get the full recording, and we're going to throw in some handouts as well. That'll be helpful. So, Todd, what's your one word to describe
Sally kind of took mine. I was going to go with money, money, money. But I guess I'll have to pick something else. I would say that it's not one word, but hard to get into. But once you're there, it's very consistent. I think that's kind of what Sally said. But yeah.
Okay. Doctor. Colonel.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning. What would be your one word to describe the federal market?
I had said intense in today's login, but complex is another word that I think accurately describes it. Multi-layered, if I could have a compounded word. How's that? Multi-layered.
Yeah. In my world, the hyphen is very underrated, so I'm going to take the multi-layered.
Yeah.
My personal word, and I hope I'm not stealing anybody else's, is chaotic, because I'm one of the guys that supports our SAM Radar platform, which we'll be talking about a little bit later. And we live these contracts all day, every day, opportunities, contract awards, tracking competitors. And it's so chaotic how these companies can be receiving so many contract awards, and the competition it's just not there. Chaotic would be a really good word. So, Peter, what would be your one word to describe the federal market?
Well, I usually multiply things. So I think my two words would be, you need to be proactive, and you have to show some patience, because it's a long lead time from the time that you get into the business and you win that first award. But I think I would be strong on being proactive. You got to be active. Nothing's going to come to you easily. So proactive.
I love that one. That's a good word. That is a really good word. We might steal that for future SAM Radar marketing purposes.
Let's
So
license that out. Yeah.
So I mentioned earlier, this guy, Dave Lowe, he's usually sitting in the driver's seat, but he is actually on vacation, and we have a little sneak peek. There's Dave and his wife.
This will be interesting.
I believe they're in Scotland. So yeah, he has been known to check in on this session while he's away, but if not, at least we know where he is. I'm assuming it's a little colder there than it is here, because they're bundled up pretty good. But at any rate, Dr. Morera, please tell us about yourself and what you can do for these lovely folks that have taken the time to join us here today.
Well, thank everyone. Thank you everyone for joining us today. I just wanted to take a minute to say my firm and my brands can actually help you and your company become better positioned in your marketing messaging to government contractors, government contracting agencies, to prime contractors and potential teammates. we help companies redefine that kind of narrative and get their messaging, communication, and everything under control according to government communication standards. We put together really, really effective, truly effective capability statements and other materials. So if there's anything related to whether you want to send email content or capability statements and briefings, that's what we do. We've been doing it for many, many years. We've developed and designed thousands of collateral pieces for government clients, both those who serve government and government agencies. So give us a call if you need any help.
Now, one thing, if you don't mind me interjecting here, one of my favorite things to hear you say is procurement ready.
Yes. Yes.
So what is procurement ready?
We combine, so we bring we bring a true unfair advantage to the table, and that we actually leverage our background in procurement and supply chain and put that to your, we actually make that readily available to you in the form of actionable intelligence. We turn our experience into your prowess, right? So I've been working with supply chains for 3.5 decades now, and we know a thing or two about how to position, how to source vendors that are qualified to fit billets and to fit task orders and to everything that we need out there, right? So because I've worked in this space, I've now built a practice around that for government contractors, right? So I'm sitting on the other side of the table now, and I can tell people, well, this is what you really need to say in order to get their attention, right? So we focus on the things that you need to have organized and in sequence so that when you're entering the federal supply chain, your organization is perceived and is ready to engage, is procurement ready and contract ready to engage with the world's richest customer, which is the federal government. It's a different language, a different parlance. There are rules of engagement. There are things you cannot say and you shouldn't say or project in marketing. Yesterday, we were discussing one of those, which is the appearance of affiliation, right? By incorrectly positioning someone else's capabilities on your team and taking credit for that, there might be an appearance of affiliation, and that can actually create a problem for you. So we help you with the nuances, with the language, with the actual articulating all of that. And also we have people on our staff that are experienced at getting you registered, certified, and we cross the T's and dot our I's. So if it's everything ranging from a SAM to a DLA DIBS registration to an 8A certification, we've done hundreds of these. And we approach it from the supply chain perspective and from the government perspective. So we know exactly what you should be saying, how you should be saying, and how to position it so that it is well accepted. That's what procurement readiness is.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much.
Mhm.
And your presentation yesterday on the early roundtable
Mhm.
is the early roundtable was fantastic, and I believe everybody that's here probably gets that. If you didn't receive the recap from yesterday's roundtable, where Raphael literally took a really significant amount of time, all the really important points of a capability statement, outlined every single one, explained it. It was awesome. If you didn't receive it, please send us an email at support@samradar.com, and I'll make sure that you get that recording, and again, it's free for everyone that's here, and it was worth its weight in gold. It really, really tells you what a capability statement should say. And then we even went into how the contracting officers are going to approach those when they come to, and it was as good as it gets. And
thank you. We went over we did a deep dive on the SBA's database of dynamic small business search, right? So this is the single most important free database that you have access to. You should be leveraging it to truly market your company. And then we talked about some of the things that you should be doing on there. The good news is this Thursday, right, we have a GovBrief event where we will be talking about, well, I'm going to be conducting a GovCon branding lab. Don't miss it. If you've got the extra dollars to take the course, you should. We're going to bring fire. It's going to be great. You're really going to enjoy it. We're going to talk about real world examples. So there are some nice walkaways and things that you'll have as a result of participating in this webinar, right? So we look forward to having you on.
And thank you, Raphael, for yesterday, and thank you for everything you do for us. I mean, if
my
you're one of
pleasure.
our Sam Radar clients, anyone in
Mhm.
our GovBrief family that
Mhm.
that uses our products and services, we refer Rafa a lot, and sometimes he goes so far above and beyond to just answer simple questions for our clients. And I really wanted to thank you and those
My
those
pleasure.
of our customers that are on here that have had the pleasure of working with you. It's I can't overstate how valuable of an asset Rafa is to our team. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Next up here is Sally White of Echo Wolf Solutions. Sally, as the
Hi.
Uber connector, take it away.
Hi, I put some information in the chat. So if you don't already have a business strategy, we help you create a business strategy. And how we help is we may connect you to Dr. Rafael Marrero. He helps create a business strategy. Peter Timbus has expertise in helping you as well. So we have people in the Wolfpack experts that we really help you with. So it's important to have a strategy. Once you have your strategy, if you don't already have your branding and positioning, again, Dr. Rafael, there's no one like him. He's incredible. His team is incredible. They've done my capability statement, work with a lot of my brands. Once you have that, your positioning, everything, what we do is we help assess to make sure that all your superpowers, all the things that you have to offer to the world are reflected in your positioning, your branding, your differentiators, your LinkedIn, your emails, keynotes. We help you get keynotes at conferences, for example. We help you set up your conference booth and create your whole entire conference plan, whether you're walking and stalking around conferences like I often do, or whether you have a booth like Peter Timbus. Peter has gone to many, many different conferences, and he's getting a lot of ROI from those conferences. So we help you with that. Help you with lead generation conversion funnels. And Raphael mentioned this. You have to have really great content that motivates and creates a compelling reason for someone to open your email or look at your subject. And so we sort of help you with that and make sure that you're connecting with influencers, decision makers. I would say the one thing that we probably are known for is our executive connections. We know lots of people in the DoD, DOE, all the different government spaces because we're out there meeting people, connecting, developing relationships so that we can help you push past those trajectories, much like Todd Craig can do as well, and Rafa and Raphael and Dave, because we all know people who can help you with that. And then finally, we help you align with technology that's really going to make you do it, the best things you can do, whether it's CRMs or Gemini or ChatGPT, so that you can spend time doing what you do best. Put information, like all of us, we're happy to do a free consultation. We'll walk through your LinkedIn page, look at your website, kind of do an assessment and help you connect with one of these wonderful team members of mine, these dream team that you'll see here and others that can help you grow your business and get your contract. So it's an honor to meet you and looking forward to this. Thank you so much for coming today.
And we will come
48
back.
people. Thank you, 48 people. And make sure you keep putting your information in the chat because it's a force multiplier and this is about networking and connecting. So thank you.
All right, so next up is going to be the legend himself, Mr. Peter Timbus.
The machine.
You're muted, Peter. As Dave would say, you're mutified.
You're mutified.
Peter, he's talking. Peter, you're muted. He's still talking. He doesn't get it. I'm going to call him. Hey, Siri, call Peter Timbus.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Start
Okay.
over. And I'll
I
add
think
you.
Thank you for that introduction. I think the legend is in my own mind. But before I get to what I do, I've worked with Sally for 3 years, and she turned my whole marketing around. She's fantastic in getting you into areas that you never thought that you could get into before. So she's fantastic. Procurement ready. I've been in this business for 34 years. There is nobody that's better than Dr. Romero as far as getting you ready to be proactive and go out and win business. And the third thing is Sam Radar. You got to be proactive. If you can't identify opportunities, you're going to be left behind. So you've got to be proactive. You got to have a great marketing, and you've got to be procurement ready. Where we step in is we've been financing companies for the last 34 years. We finance government contractors, state and local government contractors, commercial contracts. What makes us different is that we will lend to your opportunity rather than your financial statements. We do get your financial statements to get a snapshot financially of the company, but we are going to lend to your opportunities. And what does that mean? Especially to you newbies that don't have any revenue right now. Once you win a contract, we can provide financing for
Mhm.
that contract. If you go out to the traditional banking community, they're going to say, come back when you're 2 years old and you've got some numbers that we can look at. So the biggest thing is we're going to lend to your opportunity rather than those financial statements, which is a huge game changer for all government contractors.
Mhm.
Peter, let's say that someone is presented with an opportunity to maybe have a shot at a very large contract. Do you get involved before the proposal is submitted, or are they required to already have the contract in place before they?
No,
before
we
they-
get involved because once you get a proposal, you're gonna submit a proposal. We can give you a letter of financial support that will go in with your bid. And the other thing is, you're gonna wanna know what your cost of financing is when you're putting the proposal in. So two things. Number one, you wanna know what your cost of financing is gonna be on that proposal. And number two, we will give you a letter of financial support that'll
Right.
say to the government, should they award you the business, that we will be there to support you. And where that big support comes in is we will fund your payroll right out of the gate, even before you've got an
Mhm.
invoice. So
Mhm.
our customers can go out, bid on a lot of FTEs and know if it's 50, 100, 300 FTEs, we're going to be there to support that payroll mid-month where you're not going to be financing the federal government to the following month. So it's huge. And the other
Yeah.
thing is we'll fund companies that are in need of 20,000 up to our biggest customer has got an $18 million line of credit with us. Our smallest customer has got a $20,000 line of credit with us. But let me add one more thing. That customer that's got a $20,000 line of credit, been with us for 3 months. He bid on a contract with a state, won the contract for 30.5 million over 5 years. So it's going to take his company from 800,000 to 6.8 per year. Wouldn't have been able to do it, A, without lending to the opportunity, and B, the financial support letter that we gave him. So huge difference, access to capital. And I basically tell people, when you come on board with us, I'm going to give you the launch codes. It's up to you to get procurement ready with Dr. Romero, have your marketing in line, get the SAM radar, know what you're going to go after. But once you get it, get on board, baby, because you're going to have that access to capital, and I will give you the launch codes.
That's awesome, Peter. Thank you very much. Now, we don't expect you to stick around. For those that don't know, Peter's in the line of Milton, and I don't even know what to say. I hope it's not as bad as it's gearing up to be. But man, I would not want to be in that path. Yeah,
Nice name, Peter.
where
And then we put
Yeah,
Peter.
even my horses know it's coming.
Mm.
Wow.
really? So well, let's listen. Best luck, Peter.
Thanks.
If you need help, let us know.
Okay.
Our next panelist here is Todd Crane. I don't have a slick on Todd, so Todd, you're gonna have to wing it on this one. Sorry about that.
Oh, no boundaries, I guess. I can say whatever I want then.
This is me muting you.
Yeah, right.
My finger's on the button.
Yeah, right. It's dangerous territory. Hi, my name is Todd Crane. I'm the CEO of Graybeard Cybersecurity. We're an IT and cybersecurity firm, helping businesses get up to where they need to be, not only to be safe and secure just in general, but also meet the compliance requirements we're starting to see come down, especially, obviously the NIST 800-171, but also the CMMC that's coming. CMMC, we're expecting to have the final rule in effect by December or sometime in December. So it's coming, whether you like it or not. If you're currently doing business with a DoD or want to do business with a DoD, you will need to be accredited or I guess audited. And we're also expecting to see this expand into the other executive branch agencies as well within the next few years. So this is coming. It's not going away. And you need to get in sooner rather than later, because if you're anywhere on a bid proposal, right, and you're not compliant, the whole bid is non-compliant. So if you're just printing little circuit boards on like some massive, F-35 sustainment project, and you're not compliant, the entire bid, hundreds of companies that are in this bid, it's all for naught because one company was not compliant. So this is going to be really big. It's going to send a lot of people out of business because trust me, you don't want to be the one that screws up Northrop, Lockheed, Raytheon's bid because you weren't compliant. So get in now. We're still trying to see what this looks like. There's still a lot of things going. I'm sorry, I get a lot of echo. But yeah, my information's in the chat. Put some time on my calendar and we can definitely talk about it.
Hey, can we circle back there for a second? We have some people here that are brand new that don't know what CMMC is. So if you can just break that down a little bit for us.
So CMMC is a cybersecurity maturity model certification. That's what it stands for. It was designed after CMMI, or to kind of
Capability
basically carries off from CMMI, which is a software development kind of maturity certification. And so right now there's a lot of requirements that if you're doing business with the government, you have to have certain cybersecurity protections in place. Well, up until now, it's been Scout's honor, right? And the government is realizing that's not cutting it. There are people that are, and some of them are, obviously there's people that are fudging the truth, but others, it's just they don't know what they don't know, right? I was talking with a company the other week, and they did a self-assessment, and they marked themselves as 110 out of 110, meaning they were 100% up to code. I can tell you right now, they were nowhere near that, right? But they don't know that. They don't know when they see this control, they don't know that, hey, this actually means all of this, right? And so having somebody that understands that's why it's so important. And now when you have the audit come in, you could be paying sometimes as much as $50,000 for one audit. If you don't have all your ducks in a row, you don't have not only your ducks, but your paperwork supporting those ducks, then they're just going to mark you off as failed. And now you got to pay the $50K all over again. And so this is going to be big. I don't know if I can't quite answer the question, Rob, but yeah, it's going to be, it's really just to hold people's feet to the fire to make sure they're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Compliance is at the very crux. If I may, Todd, you're everyone here. I mean, every single panelist and what they do here is fundamental to the success of the contractor and the success of the mission for the government, right? It's important to understand this. Cybersecurity, and I cannot stress this enough, is one of the most fundamental pillars in all of this, right? So you've got compliance is very important because here's what's happening. Foreign actors are actually interrupting our mission critical supply chain. Look at the recent attacks by the PLA operatives that have been planting bots basically in outdated infrastructure hardware, right? So, I mean, you saw the FBI made some arrests recently, right? There's been an ongoing investigation about this, the biggest botnet ever, right? And they just made these arrests recently. So we're talking about vendors are actually the most vulnerable point of entry, the weakest link in the chain that gives bad actors a backdoor, if you will, to the U.S. government installations, right? And to facilities. So things that you install in your computer, for example, such as peer-to-peer applications, WhatsApp and all these different, that's how they hacked SAIC in the past, right? So you've got to be careful. And these cybersecurity audits are fundamental. If you're in this for the long game, if you want to do business with a very wealthy and diversified supply chain that buys more than 11 million categories of products and services, you need to be paying attention to the panelists on this event, because everyone here brings a very unique set of expertise that will help you be in compliance. And I cannot stress cybersecurity enough. And please do look into what Todd is saying. It's very important.
So let me just, if I can just interject, because I think I represent a lot of people here, like questions that I'm going to ask. I think a lot of them might have. So if I have a company that sells paper or staplers or computers or whatever, just supplying, is it companies that supply to the government, or is it their, if their websites are interacting with the federal government, those are the ones that have to be compliant, or is it across the board?
So right now the CMMC is scoped. It might change a little bit because I don't know if they've fully thought that part through as much as they think they have. But right now, if you do not receive what's called any CUI, controlled unclassified information, so that's any non-public information that the government has. If you receive any of that as part of your contract, you have to be CMMC compliant. But if you're just selling, like staples or whatever, reams of paper, then you're not receiving anything that's non-public, right? Everything that you're going to get is going to be listed on either SAM.gov or FPDS. And so you're not going to be, but if I can, the test I use, the litmus test I use is, as a private citizen, can I go put a FOIA request in, a Freedom of Information Act, to get all the information on your contract? If I can, then you don't need to worry about CMMC. But if there's one thing, one piece of information, one name, one address, one anything that I will not be able to get with a FOIA request, you have to be CMMC compliant.
That's pretty much,
and that's a flow down too.
That's pretty much everyone. I mean, think about it. There's IT involved, right?
That's if you cut the grass on a military base and they give you a detailed plan of the base, that is non-public information,
right? Yeah.
For cutting grass. So it's going to have a huge flow down, and I think there's a lot of people that are going to be just caught off guard, and we're already getting stretched thin right now. I don't know anybody that's doing the CMMC stuff that's not already slammed.
Now, if it sounds to me like it's the rich getting richer, because the money that this is going to cost is going to force a lot of people out of this market. Like what's a ballpark for these people that have to get CMMC compliant? How much are they looking to spend? Or what are the
right now, let's start with the audits. So we're not an auditor. We were given the opportunity and we declined because we want to be helping people, and you can't grade your own work, right? If we become an auditor, we can't help the people. So we help them, and then we bring in an external auditor to audit, what we do. So the audits are we've seen anywhere between 30 and 50K per audit attempt. And that's a triennial basis. So every 3 years you need to be audited. And right now we're seeing timelines about 4 to 6 weeks it takes to do the audit. And as far as getting it done, there's different people have different models. I can't speak to some of the other ones, but we do kind of a managed service approach where we come in and we take over your cybersecurity as a whole, and generally your IT as well. And so we bring your entire company up to where you need to be, and that price is a per seat model that could be anywhere from $200 to as much as $800 a month. That just depends on how mature and how risky your business is, right? If you're the Raytheon of the world, or if you're working with nuclear type stuff, and you have Margaret in accounting who likes to click on every cat picture that comes across her inbox, those are things that we take into account as far as figuring out what your risk level is.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. We're gonna press on here, but that's great information. Again, I feel like I'm the voice of the average Joe, like that. There's going to be some acronyms and stuff that we all deal with every day, but the people that are hearing some of this stuff for the first time just want to make sure that everything is crystal clear, so everybody understands what they're getting into.
Rob, there's a lot of questions in the chat, so the members of your dream team can go ahead and answer directly. I know that there's a lot directed to you, Todd, so if you want to answer directly, everybody.
And Thomas has his hand up as well. If you guys see if you can bring in Thomas while I get to these questions. So let me see. Is there there is a CMMC workshop? Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of tools. There's I can't remember the name of it. There's a tool that the DoD, basically it's kind of like a nonprofit that was started to help you understand what this looks like. There's a lot of tools, you don't have to go with someone like us to get you ready, but it's one of those things that you, if you fail your audit, you're gonna have to pay it again.
So it's not something you
And
want to
then
do. You don't want
right,
to make it.
you can roll the dice. How often do audits happen? Yeah, that like I said, it's triennial, so every 3 years. I don't know if they're going to have any kind of midterm kind of thing if there's an event or I did pose a question about what happens if your architecture changes. Is that going to require a new audit? I have yet to hear back from them. And then is a friendly audit? Depends. It depends on your auditor. Even a friendly person could wake up on the wrong side on the bed, who knows? But will it require a lot of proof to show? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You're going to need to be very verbose on everything. In the audits that I've done, or I should say in the preparing for audits in the past, some paperwork packages were over 800 pages
Nice.
of stuff.
Todd,
And
can you put your info in the chat? People are asking how to
Yeah.
reach you. Perfect. Todd's great. He works with a lot of my brands and he's amazing, very generous and knowledgeable, very humble. I mean, he's done things that he can't even talk about. They're such high level security, but he's willing to share and help us grow our brands in his expertise.
And I guess I should probably tell folks a little bit about myself. Again, Dave is not here. He's over in Scotland. So I work with Dave on the Sam Radar brand. I also do a lot of customer support issues. Everything that we're all talking about here today, it really starts with us because if we're monitoring sam.gov, and we're going to do a pretty deep dive on Sam Radar and sam.gov later on, but if you're monitoring sam.gov, you are seeing such a small fraction of the market. So what we do is we help folks find the context, the actual people that are making these decisions that are not landing on sam.gov. Fiscal year 2024, it was actually 97.5% of the contracts that were awarded never appeared on sam.gov. So it all kind of starts with us understanding how these things are happening, and more importantly, putting the finger on the people. These are the people that are awarding contracts in your market. Here's the Sam Radar platform that identifies those folks. Here's the Sam Radar system that then helps folks do the outreach, do the emails, the phone scripts, everything, do the follow-ups, and making sure that once you have the opportunity, you know exactly how to approach it. And then that's when we start distributing to whatever anyone needs. This little team of experts that we have here kind of helps. But it really all starts with identifying the people that are doing this in the government, being strategic about the way you build a relationship, setting realistic expectations, which there's some people come to us and they're like, my company's hurting. We have to get a contract in the free Sam Radar 7-day trial. And we tell them, like, it doesn't work like that. This is a long game. It's a marathon of marathons. It is not a sprint. Realistic expectation, if you have not had a government contract in the past, 18 months to 2 years, like from start to your first contract. Now, granted, once you get to your first contract, speaking on averages, there were 116,000 companies that received government contracts here. On average, they all earned over $5 million per year. So in essence, what we're telling you is, here's the Sam Radar platform. Here's the Sam Radar system that supports the data. You hang with us for 2 years, 18 months to 2 years, and we're not guaranteeing you a contract, but that investment of time and resources on average is going to get you a yearly revenue of $5 million. There aren't a lot of people that I know that would turn that down. In fact, when we get to the Sam Radar platform, we'll talk about our 1,000% guarantee that we just rolled out. But again, I don't want to take away from this program and just giving you folks like basic information on what it takes to sell to the government. And we're real thankful that everyone's here today. So we'll buzz through. I missed a couple slides here. Participating is easy. You can post your company information in the chat. Again, this video and the handouts in the chat will all be redistributed, hopefully by tomorrow. If you want to raise your hand, in a little bit, we're going to open the floor up for questions. If you have a specific question, it's easier for us if you put it in the Q&A rather than in the chat. We want you to keep the stuff about your business in the chat, and questions go in the Q&A. So those things are right at the bottom there as our pictures are showing. And Janet, if you could post that quick poll question, just so we have a general idea of how folks got here today.
That one was posted prior.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
We
Thank
already
you.
got that one. No
And
worries.
we ended that poll question. All right.
It was a test to make sure you're paying attention.
There we go. I probably closed it out on accident. So basically, and we're going to go round robin here with comments. So as we all know, the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2024 just ended. Record-breaking number of contracts, crazy money coming across the table. Rafa, can you just give a little quick summary like you did yesterday about why everything lands on the fourth quarter? Like why does it always come down to September 30th?
Well, here's from a finance perspective, here's what happens, right? Let's say that you've got $1 million in the coffers, right? And you're a government buyer. Well, if you don't spend that money by the end of September, which is September 30, right? The end of the federal fiscal year, what happens is you're going to lose $2 million. You're going to get dinged with $1 million on the new budget and $1 million for the old budget, right? And for having at least a situational awareness and lay of the land is very important, because you need to get in touch with these people that may have last minute requirements, right? But above and beyond that, you need to monitor the entire procurement cycle and insert yourself at the very early stages, which I always recommend, which is the sources sought stage, right? And throw your name in the hat and your capabilities for consideration, because this is when they're doing their early market assessment to see who's a good fit, which vendors are good potential providers of goods and services for the specific requirement that they have from an agency or a department. And the contracting officers, their internal clients, the operations people, the people out in the field, right? The people that are using the widgets and the programs and the solutions that they're buying, they're getting a lot of pressure from their clients saying, hey, I need this done. So you need to go out and find me a qualified vendor. Well, then the vendors go, I mean, the supplier goes out, the supply chain officer, in this case, the contracting officer needs to buy these things. They need to source them. So that's why they issue these sources sought notifications, which I can't stress this enough. And you can actually find this with GovBrief, right? You can actually get the early warnings. You can get the reports. For example, always remember this, and this is a rule of thumb. With spring, when spring is sprung, is when RFI and sources sought season really kicks into high gear. So I typically run a report using, Dave's tool here, and you're going to find more than 700 sources sought notifications on an average around this time of the year. This is the moment to start inserting yourself, right? It's never late. This is the time you need to start inserting yourself, and then presenting your capabilities, right? And don't embellish, be factual, right? This is what I can do for your agency. I see that you have this requirement. We like to go ahead, submit throw your name in the hat, but also request that capabilities briefing, right? That face-to-face or via Zoom, to pitch them on your core competencies, your core capabilities. So when it comes down to September 30th, it's everything. That's when everything is pretty much decided. They spend the majority of the money in the month of September, right? This is when it happens. I believe in excess of 40% of the annual budget. So if you're not inserted and you don't have the tools to monitor the opportunities, if you have not been following them, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And that's why tools such as this are so important, right? I hope that answers your question.
All right, now, if I can ask you one more quick thing.
Yeah, anything.
All right, so let's say that my company submits a proposal for something that landed on SAM.gov. Can you talk about the debriefing process? Like what happens? Can you talk about debriefing?
Yeah, sure. So we're not talking about waterboarding. We're talking about just win, lose, or draw. You're always going to ask for a debrief. And here's,
I think they call that enhanced interrogation. I think
right. Sorry. Let me put my T-shirt away, my waterboarding instructor T-shirt away. So here's what happens, right? You didn't make the cut. Someone else got the deal, right? And this is where it comes so much in handy. And please pay attention to this because this is fundamental. This is like a golden nugget. We had a client that we thought was a shoo-in for this one deal, right? The client actually did a great, well, we did a great job in putting the package together, but they were in a hurry. They didn't sign in the right places, right? They didn't follow the instructions on the standard forms. Big mistake, because contracting officers do pay attention to this, right? They figure that if you cannot fill out a simple form or sign on the right place, you're not a good fit for their business model. That's the reality of it, right? You're going to get the swipe and laugh. They're going to go to the next person, right? So here's what happened. My client, veteran-owned small business, truly talented individual, sharp guy, signed where he didn't have to. He was in a hurry, just fumbled it on the end zone, right? I could have killed him. He came in like $20,000 less than the person that was awarded the business, right? Right? That's important. And then he said, well, why didn't I win it? So we requested the debrief, and we learned a lot about the things that the client didn't do, right? In the proposal paperwork where he should have signed. It wasn't about the pricing. It wasn't about the technical things that we put together. All right. And this was important because the contracting officer said, hey, listen, you came in under this other person, but it's not about pricing here. It's also about quality and paying attention. And I could tell that there were some components missing here. You didn't sign the form on the right place, and that it just rubbed them the wrong way. So you always learn from these good, bad, or indifferent, right? Win, lose, or draw. You're going to gain insights as to why you didn't get the business or why you did, right? What actually gave you the upper hand over the competitors, right? It's always good to ask for a debrief. Always. I highly recommend it.
Now, would you recommend, let's say that a contracting officer says, well, we didn't like your past performance, or we didn't like such and such.
Yeah.
Let's say that they make that recommendation and that reply. The next time they have something come up, can you go to them and say, listen, you had told us to correct this, get more past performance, to this, like I'm here on this project. Is that advisable to kind of say, hey, you told me to correct this. Here we are. We corrected those issues. Where do I sign?
There is, I mean, you need to see continuous improvement as a process, right? It's never done. And you need to keep a log of corrective actions, right? A CA log, and opportunities for improvement, because we need to become better providers so that we're a no-brainer to do business with, right? That's what procurement readiness is all about. So if someone tells you, hey, your technical proposal like this, that, and you need to take note of this, right? And take that to heart and go back and revisit with your team. We had a client recently that submitted for a federal program bid administered at the state level with the FDOT, with the Florida Department of Transportation. First bid, the winner, the difference was 20 points, right? So it was based on 100 points. They did great on the technical, on the technical response, on the project management, how they were going to do it. They were a little thin on some of the past performance, right? And this was goes to your point, Rob. So at least they left a very good impression on the contracting officers with the good job that they did, and we helped them, kind of articulate that in a well-structured document, for a capabilities document, but it was in Microsoft Word, far more extensive than the one you're used to seeing. It was opportunity-specific capability statement. That's what they're called. So again, this is very important. So we learned why the client didn't get it. We know where the weak points are, right? But we also walked away with a good understanding. They liked our technical approach, which was great, right? That if you left with a good impression, if you left a good impression, this was your first trial, Rob, you've done your job, because then next time you're in position now to do better and score better on a similar engagement. See what I mean? So you fix the things that you need to work on. You find a teaming strategy to make your proposal work next time, which is what he missed, right? And then next time, I think we have a better chance. He did very well for his first try, So now in the debrief, what he's doing now. So here, from the debrief, here's what we learned. He didn't do so well, and he was very thin in certain areas. And we also learned who got the deal, right? Because it was a sealed bid, and then it was open. And now we're approaching them, the winners, to offer the scope of work that my client has, right? to become a subcontractor. It makes sense, right? Because he did so well in the technical evaluations, right? So here, can we help you fulfill this, right? And so that's great. So anyway, that is why you should always be looking at getting a debrief following an actual RFQ or an RFP, and do it respectfully too. You don't want to come across as flippant or disrespectful. Understand that they're, highly tasked employees and they have a lot on their plate. So their time is very valuable. So make it count. Go in there prepared, take notes, and don't waste your time.
All right, and just one more quick follow-up question. I promise we'll move on.
Yeah.
How long after your proposal do you have to submit the debriefing, and how long do they have to respond?
That varies, but typically I would say it's within the first 30 days or so. But I mean, there might be more of an attorney is better equipped to handle this. I'm not an attorney, I'm an economist. But typically it varies. I always look at the terms and conditions, right? I always look at the flow down provisions and everything, and then we do a shred of that and we see how we can comply with the provisions of that. So it's on an on a case-by-case basis, I should say.
Good.
But
Well,
obviously the sooner the better. So I like to come in with a respectful letter, certified mail, via email, the whole works, right? With return receipt within the next 14 days following your evaluation of that information after getting the info and preparing the necessary put together a well thought response and request for the briefing while it's still fresh in their minds also.
All right, awesome. Thank you. I didn't mean to get off track with that, but again,
No,
don't
but
have
I
the
mean,
opportunity
I'm
to
sure
see-
that our colleagues here would benefit from that. I'm sorry if I
Like I
extended.
said, I'm like Janet and I are the ones that face the customers every single day. And I
Mhm.
feel that I'm asking questions that a lot of people are here that might have, and just things that if I have a chance to talk to you, like, I don't mean it to be a one-on-one conversation with you, but
No, please. We
we have a
always
bunch-
offer, we're all about helping, right? I mean, there's opportunity in helping others and vice versa. We give a free 15-minute consultation, which in certain cases extends out to a half hour, right? So it's a very generous allocation of our time. And as part of our philosophy, I want you to know that I have a commitment where 10% of my time every week is to give back to the community. So that's, if there's someone that has a question, has a technical question, or needs some help, right? We're here, right? And there's no charge for that free initial consultation, just so you know.
Wonderful.
just
I'm
like-
gonna have to bounce. I have a Zoom, but
You
like.
gotta go. Come on, Sal.
Oh, no,
we were
sorry.
just going to start picking on you.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
okay. Like Raphael, we all have scholarships that we apply, and how we apply those scholarships is in free consultations and other things to the community. But if there's anything any of us can do, just please reach out, and we'll catch you on the Monday roundtable. And I'm sure Todd or someone else will show you how to save the chat. Otherwise, it's available in Rob and the team's lovely, generous post call follow-up. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of the
Sally,
week.
thank you. Sorry we didn't get to talk more. All right, folks, we have a bunch more slides here to go, so I'm gonna buzz through them real quick. Raphael covered in detail spending all the money, all their budget money by the end of that fiscal year. Not only do they get dinged that year, but they get dinged the following year. So it's really, really important that all their budget is accounted for by the end of September. Now it starts all over again. Like Rafa said, 40% of the money gets spent in September, but those relationships are built starting right now. Like, one of my favorite things about October, and again, we're in these numbers and this data all day long, is that 40% leads to people that 40% in September is really eye-opening in October, when we can see these people actually wrote these contracts in September. So like, we see it right after it happens, but to analyze the data at the end, it's like, if you're wondering who to build the relationship, September just revealed all the players in basically every market. So that's why we love October, because now we're resetting. Now we know who spent money at the end of the year, and we're going to get after them for next year.
Hey, Rob, if I may, and to Todd's point, I can't stress this enough. In fact, I just communicated with Todd and told him that in the chat, Todd, there's a client that needs to talk to you about CMMC. All right. So I'm glad we're having this conversation today. Sorry. I had someone that recently reached out to the firm and said, hey, can you tell us and by the way, they had a tremendously well put together capabilities briefing They had a beautiful capability statement, not done by us, must say that. It was some third party that did it, and they did a very, very good job. They're asking me, why am I not getting any answers? This is a quality product, right? Why am I not getting any responses? Was what they wanted to know. Well, then I did a technical review, Todd, and guess what I found, right? The document weighed 40 megabytes. Guess what was happening to that document, right?
Trash.
That's right. So they thought, I mean, obviously, if I'm Joe Procurement, right? And Joe KO, right? Joe Procurement Contracting Officer, and if I get an email like that, I'm going to think it's a virus or something, because I mean, the capability statement should not be 40 megabytes, right?
Yeah, that's
So
ridiculous.
here's a freebie, and please take note of this. Write it down, commit it to memory. Use the right nomenclature, the right parlance. Use capability statement dot the name of your company, right? And dot PDF. Send it in PDF format, number one. Number two, the file size should not exceed more than 1.5 megabytes. Okay. Very important. Ideally, keep it to one. Always use capability statement dot your company name, right? Always make it indexable and use keywords in your document property. So if they're looking for specific components, your capability statement comes up first. Okay. Trust me on this. You're going to love me. You're going to send me a bottle of scotch because someone's going to call you back. I'm telling you right now. So anyway, just that's my good deed for the morning, right there.
Well, I know you've hit it on the past, but a capability statement is a lot like a resume, right? If you're trying to get a job and your information is not laid out the way the hiring manager or the recruiter wants it, it's going in the trash. Or if you have the wrong type, font, or whatever, there's so many things that they're just finding reasons to throw it in the trash. You have to, I mean, people have to understand how many people try to talk to these buyers, but also submit, bids for these wildly uncompliant bids. Like they just woke up, one morning and decided they're going to make the next nuclear reactor with not even a college degree. And so somehow they're going to have,
right? They're bread makers and they want to bid on this nuclear reactor. Yes.
Yeah. And so it's like, there's so much noise that that's why we have buyers. That's why it's not just the program managers doing it directly. Program managers don't have time to be weeding out all this other stuff. So
nor should they, right? Nor should they.
Right. So you need to, make sure that you're not getting caught up with all that chaff. You need to come across. That's why relationships are so important. You got to build those relationships. You got to come across as professional and competent and because here's the thing, it doesn't matter how cheap you are if they're not 100% confident that you're going to be able to fulfill the contract. And that's it.
Yeah.
Like coming in under budget's nothing, is nothing if the contract doesn't get done, right? Because then they're going to go over budget by having to rebid it.
Yep.
Well, one of the things that we hear all the time is it's not best price, it's best value. And sometimes value is I can come to one vendor and I can fulfill 5 or 6 obligations in one pen stroke, one contact, one phone call, one email, versus going out and having doing 5 or 6 different things. So yeah, we advise clients all the time. It's not best price, it's best value. Look at things from a contracting officer's perspective.
And you submit, and you have to develop a report. You have to develop trust, right? Trust is the foundation of everything. So if someone doesn't know you, they're going to ask questions. That's what request for information, right? And then you represent yourself a certain way on government portals, and then they look at the information and say, okay, this is interesting. Let me check out their website. Then they look at your website and it kind of doesn't, the information is not married well to what you're saying. There are 3 core competencies over here, but then you're saying, hey, I'm the best at this, right? The information has to be consistent. It has to be credible, right? And it has to, and it has to be current, right? Those are the 3 C's that I apply to that specific scope. I like to work with the C's in contracting because it's a good way to memorize the rules of engagement, right? But if you look at your capability statement, I keep saying this, it's just like you can get fired from a job for materially misrepresenting or overselling your quals, right? You can, say, hey, I've got this certification or degree, whatever. They find out that that's not true. Guess what? You just lost face. You no longer have any advantage, competitive advantage. You might as well walk yourself out of the room, do them a favor and just close the door behind you, right? That's what happens, right? So be careful what you put in writing when you're bidding on these contracts. Make sure that your personnel, your key personnel, quals can pass the sniff test, all these different things. And if you're looking for a review, like with screenshots and suggestions, we offer that. We offer a deep, I have a weighted system that is proprietary and it's patent pending right now, actually. As soon as it's ready, we're going to announce it to the world. But it's a procurement readiness assessment that takes into account all these different dimensions. It gives you like a weighted score per area, right? So we look at different. Yeah, I think you guys will really like it. But we like to go into the DSBS, the SAM. We like to go to DLA DIBS. We like to go into your capability statement, your website, right? Your marketing materials. And we do a composite analysis of all of that. See how strong you look on paper and what you need to improve to get your points across. Sometimes you're overselling it. Maybe you just need to pare it down a little bit, kick it down a couple of notches, right? Or maybe you're emphasizing the wrong things. I just want to ask, and if people could just reply, right? How many of the folks here have a capabilities narrative in their DSBS profile? That's very important, right?
Can we get a show of hands on that? If you do the react button down at the bottom of your screen.
I like to really see that because
I'd be
it's really
anxious to
important,
see
right?
what that number is.
Yeah. There you go. There we go. So I see some raised hands. Is that saying that they do have it? That they do have it. Okay.
That means that they do have it.
Okay. So I only see 2. Wow, that's concerning.
Well, a couple of people dropped them back down. They raised it
Yeah.
and then they took it back down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was 5 or 6 that
They can they do react? Can they do the thumbs up? No, they can't, right?
Let me s-
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
give us a thumbs up if you've got one, right?
there's 2.
1 ping. 1 ping, please.
There's 3.
Just, you know.
Everybody says, "Oh, look, we did it."
That's awesome.
There's more people that have them than people in the chat.
This is so important, and you're not going to believe just how important it is. The follow-up question to that, and I want to leave some thoughts. You kind of like, I want to leave you thinking about this. How many characters is it? How many words you have captured in there? And are you representing yourself in the single most effective manner in that narrative? I want you to think about that, because that right there, that little narrative is everything, right? When you start the marketing process. It says a lot about the way you think, you're structured, and how the other rest of your materials look. I've seen some common denominators there. So give that some thought. If you haven't already checked your dynamic small business search, I suggest that you do. And if you want a free evaluation, we will honor this free evaluation of your DSBS profile.
And your information is posted in the chat, right, Rafa?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Now we like to try to keep this under an hour.
Yep.
We referenced earlier our Sam Radar platform, which again helps folks identify the people. Nothing's hitting sam.gov. Let Sam Radar work for you. Janet, if you could post actually every single weekday at 2:00, we do a 1-hour presentation. It's an open forum, open questions about Sam Radar, where we show you. And I want to ask you guys a couple questions before we get out of here about one of the things we do is we help you find the contracting officers. There's tremendous value in government contracting working as a subcontractor. One of the values of Sam Radar is we tell you which companies won. We tell you how big their footprint is. We tell you who their contacts are, their points of contact, so you don't have to go searching through a company database. But again, every single day we do that at 2:00. It's a full deep dive. If you like it, you do a free Sam Radar 7-day trial. You'll usually know within a day or so if it's something that's going to help your company. But please join us every weekday at 2:00. We'll be there today. Obviously, it's a full 1-hour deep dive. It's 20-minute presentation, and we dissect everyone's company. Make sure you're right. You know which NAICS codes you're supposed to be looking under. Understanding who your competitors are, tracking your competitors. We even let you see the ones that do hit sam.gov, the 2.5%, So we're really proud of it. We're really proud of the program. We're really proud of the data, and we're really proud of the way that we support our customers. So the link is in the chat. Please sign up. Join us every weekday, or usually most people see the presentation once or twice and they give us a try, but we want to make sure that everyone here today has access to it. So I want to mention that. So do we have a couple seconds to talk about subcontracting? Because, you know, I know we tell people in straight up, we're not sugarcoating anything. You are 18 months to 2 years to get a direct contract award. You can soften that blow by working as a subcontractor to these large companies that are getting these contract awards every single day. Todd, I know that we talked about this yesterday about the value of subcontracting, especially to the big guys like, you know, you're a Raytheon guy and General Dynamics. So can you just give us just a quick little talk about the value in subcontracting?
Yeah, I mean, it's depending on what you sell. It could be I don't want to say an easy, but an easier way to cut your teeth, you know, to build that trust. And, you know, I mentioned yesterday that it's kind of like actors with their IMDb profile. Some of them will actually you know, do a role without any speaking parts, or, you know, not even get paid, just so they can have a credit, which will turn into a listing on their IMDb profile and it's their public resume. So in the same way, you know, try and get after anything you can, get your name attached to, especially these big contracts that everyone knows. Like, you know, I mentioned kind of the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter earlier. Like if you can say, hey, I swept the parking lot or something like that on that contract, you know, you can now when you're doing these, you know, your past performance, you can attach yourself to these big things that everyone knows, and it kind of gives you an extra boost in that confidence that people are going to have for you. So understanding these, you know, trying to get in with everybody, you know, and just cut your teeth, right? That's the easiest way to be able to say, look, I've done this before. Not only am I the best parking lot sweeper around, but I've also been in the space, right? I've done defense work, I've done this, I've done that, and I know how the system operates because I've been there, done that. And so that's an easy way to kind of give yourself a boost. And just getting in there. And then on top of that, some of these contracts, if you're a subcontractor, depending on the relationship, you might actually have face-to-face with the government, not the buyer, but the real important thing, the government PM or these other people. And that's who you really want to have these relationships with, because that's how you really influence these RFPs. You can influence their entire spending strategy once you have this kind of face time. So yeah, it's really important. It's an easy way to get in without having to do the whole kind of thing. Especially, like I said, if you're obviously joking about being a parking lot sweeper, but you know, if you're like I mentioned earlier about, you know, printing circuit boards, right? That's, you know, you want to help guide it and help get your fingerprints on these contracts so that you can steer more your way. That's what we talk about on the Monday roundtables. If you haven't been there, I would highly suggest you try it 10 and 2 p.m. or 10 a.m. 2 p.m. Eastern time Mondays.
Yeah, that's always good conversation. So how do you the floor's open, guys. Do your closing and we'll get everyone out of here. I got through about 10 out of the 55 slides, so I think we did better this year than last year. But again, it's all about you folks. And again, I always feel like I'm the voice of the average Joe who's either new or just has a lot of questions that sometimes fall through the cracks.
Well, hey, Rob. So again, I just wanted to invite everyone here to join us this Thursday for the first GovCon branding lab that I'm going to offer. It's called Dr. Marrero's GovCon branding lab. It's going to be fun. We're going to bring a lot of very practical, hands-on knowledge, things that can help you improve your messaging, your design, your proposal efforts, everything, the way you're communicating your value as a contractor with those that have decision-making powers in government. Take a look at govbrief.us. It's scheduled. You can actually register online, and I'm guaranteeing you a great show. So please join us this Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern.
I'm going to pull that up right here on the screen. Govbrief.us is the website, and there it is. We also have some other ones coming up. for-profit grants for small business. And that's if you're a for-profit company, completely opposite of the not-for-profit, Denise will help you with grants, doing business with the VA, selling sam.gov, all kinds of good stuff, govbrief.us. So you want to have some closing comments there, Rafa, before we let these folks go?
I just wanted to please be on the lookout for those that are in Florida. I mean, we're going through some tough times right now with these hurricanes, and also if you have friends in the Carolinas, it's very important that you stay in touch with your friends and family in the Carolinas and keep them in your prayers. They're going through quite a lot right now, and you might know a vendor or two interested in providing services locally. If so, urge them to register and get involved, because now's the time.
And thank you very much. Todd, closing statement. I wanted to say argument, but we're not in.
Closing arguments.
Yeah, I just want to echo, what Dr. Marrero was saying about how, with these storms, it's, obviously pray for them, for their safety, especially, this, I think Governor DeSantis was talking about how all the debris from the Helene is now going to be projectiles. It's not slated to be projectiles. And so it's just, if you're in the Florida area, or someone in the Florida area, don't try and weather it out at home. I've done plenty of humanitarian assistance, disaster relief efforts, to know that it's not, your pride's not worth it, and so just get out if you can. If not, there's shelters available, and just keep everyone in their prayers. And there's if you do want to give back, obviously there's donations, but if you want to serve time, a great organization that I used to volunteer with is Team Rubicon. And they go out and help people recover. It's a great organization.
Yep.
If you also want to donate to them financially, it's a much better place to put your money than Red Cross. I'm not going to get into the politics there, but it's a great organization. They do very well, not only for helping people get back on their feet, but also they help with transitioning veterans. People that come out of the military and kind of lose their purpose. And it's kind of a military focus. It's not exclusively for veterans, but it's veteran focused, so that they can help people get back on their feet after leaving the military and understand, who they are as a civilian. So it's a great organization.
Awesome. I have a question from Alice Ann Friends. I recently submitted 2 proposals, and they were picking about my proposal, but my proposal was LTPA. They awarded to another vendor. So frustrating to award another vendor that was higher than mine.
Yeah. Well, obviously,
does that go back to the
LPTA? I mean, lowest price technically acceptable is not my favorite. My favorite method of procurement, right? Or for pricing deals, because in this case, obviously, Alice and Friends they're extremely qualified in their services, right? So, I mean, they've got a great solution, right? They offer great solutions. So I can only imagine, and again, I don't know who won the deal, but if they're just basing this on price and not quality of service, then especially when it comes to the services that Alice's company offers, I would seriously question whether or not they made the right decision in not going with Alice. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, also Jason, Jason Moy did a GovBrief on challenging or disputing the things. I would check that out.
Yep. So yes, ask for a debrief. Ask for a debrief, Alice. Please do.
Anyone else have any last questions before we let you folks go?
Gotta bounce. Gotta get ready for TV. So
yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah, me too. That's the reason why I got to bounce too.
Yeah.
So I have to get going as well.
All right. Well, listen. Thank you guys both. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Peter. Peter had to duck out, obviously, for he has a farm somewhere in Florida. Where is Peter? Do you know, Rafa?
I have a vague idea, but not, not sure.
All right. So everyone that joined us here today, you will get a recording of the session. You will get the chat. We're gonna have some handouts in there for you. Again, Janet, if you could post that. She just did. If anyone's interested in learning more about CM Radar, again, it's kind of the gateway to help us all identify who the players are, who the primes are, how to get in touch with the primes for subcontracting. That's what the CM Radar platform does. I was hoping to have a little bit more time to demo it today, but again, every weekday at 2 o'clock, we invite everyone to join us there. The sign up link is in the chat. With that, I think I did okay getting through 10 of the 50 slides that we had prepared. We covered all the material. We just don't have the reference for it, but when you get
Right.
the recap, it will be included in there. So anyway, listen, I'm going to shut it down at this point, folks. If you want,
Real quick, don't forget to save the chat.
I was just going to say that
Um,
walk us through.
How do we
saving
do
the
that?
chat there.
How do we do that?
So on the webinars, it should be at the bottom, but it might be at the top. There's 3 dots next to a smiley face. You're gonna go hit that, and then you're gonna save to chat, and make sure you grab that file. We will be sending out a text file and an email with the chat, but it's not going to contain any private messages or anything like that. So make sure you save it just to make sure you get all the information that that's there. So
Okay.
oh, no 3 dots for attendees. Oh, okay.
Yep.
I know I see the 3 dots.
No
Yeah,
es bueno. Well, he just said it, not for attendees. It's got to be enabled for
okay.
attendees.
Okay, then I guess okay, because you guys can't send private messages. So, okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, then we'll go ahead and send it over anyway. Well, you'll get it
Okay.
in your recap email, but
All right,
Okay.
listen, thank you, gentlemen, again. Thank you, Janet, on support there. And we will we'll see you soon. Thanks.
thank
Bye.
you.